Well as being one of the world's most well-known and controversial figures, Julian Assange is also a father of two young children, Gabrielle and Max. Their mother, Stella Morris, is demanding Australian and US officials free their father immediately. I spoke with her earlier. Stella Morris, thanks for joining Sky News Your World. Firstly, can you give us an update on Julian? How is he doing?
Well, he's very unwell. He's in Belmarsh high security prison in London, where he's been for over 20 months, and he's a remand prisoner. He's not serving a sentence, but he's in atrocious circumstances. The prison is a dangerous place. Suicides and murders are commonplace. And there's a COVID outbreak currently in Belmarsh prison, specifically in Julian's wing. Approximately 160 prisoners in that house block, and 65 last time I heard have been diagnosed as having COVID currently. So very bad, and it's very cold as well. The conditions inside are inhumane.
How much, Stella, do the kids understand about what's happening with their father?
The kids, they speak to him every day, and when we go to see him, we go to see Daddy in the big house. Obviously, I don't say Daddy's in prison. They're getting older, and I don't want to tell them that their father is in prison. I grew up with a very clear understanding of what's right and what's wrong, and the situation is very confusing for a child. So I tell them that their daddy's a hero every day, and that he's coming home. But that's how I'm managing it at the moment.
Stella, can you explain the sort of support you're getting from Australian officials? What exactly are they doing for you?
As far as I can tell, there's a box-ticking exercise. But in terms of giving support to Julian, who's an Australian in an extremely difficult political, diplomatic situation, no Australian officials have come to Julian with advice about how to handle this. I know that Marise Payne supposedly raised the case with Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State of the US, but no one came to us to ask what's the latest in the case. We haven't been contacted after that meeting. And so the Australian government should just pick up the phone and speak to its closest allies and show its concern and secure his safe release.
And on that, there is this push now for US President Donald Trump to issue a pardon for Julian. Are you in contact with any US officials or anyone who might be able to make this happen?
I'm not going to say who I'm in contact with. I'm making every effort I can to get the message through that this is not in anyone's interest. It's not in the US interest, because this case undermines their constitution. It's not in the UK's interest, because it sets a precedent in the UK, and it's not in Australia's interest. The US is arguing that Australian citizens will be disadvantaged at trial because they will not have constitutional rights. They say it explicitly in the proceedings in the UK. If you're not a US citizen, you don't have constitutional rights when you come to trial. And if that's not a reason for the Australian government to intervene, I don't know what is.
So, Stella, you mentioned you've spoken with some people regarding this matter of potentially getting a pardon. Can you give us a sense of who these people are, if you can't name names, but are these people within the administration? Are these people advisors?
I'm reaching out to everyone I can, because no matter the administration, this is not in the interests of the US generally, and if it affects Australia as well. Just look at how Chinese state TV is using Julian's case as a propaganda tool to say, look, when they talk about freedom, they're not serious because they're not protecting their own. And the case is so outrageous from the international perspective that Australia is undermining its own legitimacy, its own ability to project itself into the world, and its own self-interest.
So given that, and given the support you're getting from politicians in Australia, as well as people like Tulsi Gabbard, a former Congress member in the US. Do you think there is a real likelihood that Trump will pardon in the dying days of his presidency?
Look, there's cross-party support in the US, in the UK, and in Australia. The Senate passed a resolution in Australia. Julian was very heartened by that. There's a cross-parliamentary group which is doing amazing work. These are people who understand that the long-term consequences of maintaining this case. It's completely unsustainable. Julian has not been free for 10 years. He's being punished because he published information in the public interest. Publishers, journalists, if they have information that is in the public interest, their duty is to publish it. And that's what Julian did. He did the right thing, and now he's being punished for it.